World of WoW, episode 51, recorded on November 15th, 2009. I'm Brent Copeland.
I'm Wes Wilson.
And I'm Eric Fullerton.
And this is World of WoW.
It's not Halloween anymore. It doesn't need to be scary.
Oh, was that scary?
That was totally scary.
World of WoW. Hi, I'm a gnome and you're on World of WoW.
Yeah, no more of that.
No? Okay.
Woo, woo! Woo, woo! Like
yeah, I
one
guess
step...
the gnomish engineers make the whistle tips, right? So it's like,
Oh,
woo,
yeah.
woo!
It's like one step away from Jar Jar Binks or something.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, now you can make motorcycles in WoW. What if they could make whistle tips that you could add to your motorcycle?
That'd be nice.
And then when you're driving through, like, you actually hear the woo woo.
You should be in the kitchen cooking breakfast.
I wasn't going there. Anyway.
Okay.
So this week on World of WoW, I don't know how quick it will be, but it looks like I know some last minute discussions on a little BlizzCon debacle and one of the biggest mistakes that Blizzard has made with WoW that they have owned up to that we'll talk about.
Ooh.
Also, I would like to announce that next week, and this is exciting for us, we're going to have Brian, or better known as Briani from WarcraftPets.com. I want to throw World of
Pets Warcraft.
WarcraftPets.com. He actually has an in-game character named after him, and they used his actual model from his play character.
That's awesome.
So that's awesome.
That's
he's
going to
be on. And he's going to be a guest host. It's not just going to be an interview. So that's really cool.
Sweet.
And I guess that's about it, besides our statuses in the weekend. Wow. Speaking of, Wes, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. Well, I had surgery last week. So,
what was that again? That was pudding in the nose?
Yeah, I had pudding in my nose. No, I got my deviated septum repaired, and I was really expecting a lot of, relaxing at the computer. You know, I figured my wife would take care of stuff and I would be hopped up on pain meds, goofing off on the computer. And then the night that I got my surgery, my wife got a marble-sized kidney stone and she had to go in for surgery that day. Ooh. So we both ended up on painkillers, juggling 2 kids. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It sounds like it.
So
did her surgery trump your surgery?
She's still in pain and I'm not. So, yeah. But it's been okay. I did get a few things accomplished this week. I finished the Storm Peaks area, which, I've been working on for quite a while now.
Your pop screen.
Well, maybe we should move
possessed.
on to Eric for a minute.
Somebody messed with my mic last week, and they're in trouble.
Yeah. I thought we had this all taken care of.
Yeah.
Great behind-the-scenes stuff.
So
we're in Thunder Peaks right now, Storm Peaks.
Yeah.
And we got the background. You can hear the thunder. And
yeah, that's what I thought that was.
So anyway, and I'm just not going to worry about the pop screen. Okay, so I finished Storm Peaks, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Additionally, I started working on getting Hodir rep. The Sons of Hodir rep.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of like the little quests over there, and I like the environment and pretty much everything about it. I did get honored with them, and and my wife got revered.
Right.
Do you know when they're supposed to take the reputation patch live?
I don't know. It's in the 3.3, so I assume like a month.
But I didn't. I looked at the 3.3 notes on WoW.com, and I didn't see the stuff about reputation. There was nothing in the WoW.com listing about it.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if it was going to be something, a 3.24 patch or something like that.
Oh, it could be. It could be. I haven't heard anything on that really, but that's like 30% gains there. So that's what I'm holding off on my Hodir. That's my.
Well, I'm not turning in any of my relics. Any of my Old War relics, I'm kind of holding on to those and hoping that all works out in the long run.
Yeah. Cool.
Are you laughing at me because I'm sitting here trying to make my mic work?
Yeah.
Then my last thing is I started trying to level up my priest. My original main was a dwarf priest, and my dwarf priest has been languishing because he's a holy priest, and that is bad. What'd you just do?
I'm not doing anything.
Is it me because I'm touching this? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me. Okay, you're gonna have to chop this part out. I gotta fix this. This is ridiculous.
All right, this will be a little behind the scenes that gets edited. I think it was going up last time and not down. You know what I mean? Like it would go up.
Really?
From yeah.
Okay. This is ridiculous.
Like my mic, it's going up.
Yeah, and like I switched mine to go up.
Yeah.
We all like it up.
We
in
do.
The WoWoW podcast. Up in there.
Well, for a while we're like hiding behind our microphones, like, "Hi, I'm Mike Face." You know? So having it down here, actually.
Hey, you'll be glad to know that when we move into the new studios, we're going to use the arm and hard mount it to your table.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute your mic just for now, so it's not Rumble City.
Okay.
Yeah, man, can't wait. I guess a tiny bit about the studio, just to talk about something. We got our studio. It's ready to go. We're gonna be moving in about a month from now.
Yeah, that is something. We will be off the air for 2 weeks, the 13th and the 20th of December, and that is so we can get everything moved down there and tested and set up, so we're not doing like, these episodes where half the stuff's not working and then we end up not having to do it or something.
Yeah.
We just want to get down there and get everything placed solidly where we're going to have it for the next year, and hopefully that'll be awesome.
Yeah, and it won't just be Wes like fiddling with his mic the whole time. It'll be all three of us. So
all three fiddling with Wes's mic. It's awesome. I don't know if Wendy would approve though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been to some of those cons
yeah.
with Wes.
It's
Okay,
a little
turn
wild.
my mic back on. See if that works. Hello. Okay, that's better. Wow, I'm having to. Hold on.
It's you and me messing with our mics like the speed of eternity.
Do.
Well, this will be interesting to watch on YouTube.
Okay,
Because I'm not editing that.
you're not going to edit that out the YouTube
No.
clip?
Only out of the audio.
Okay.
Yeah, which means if you're watching this on YouTube, go over to iTunes and subscribe, and you can get the feed without that crap. That crap over there.
Oh, yeah, you have to point in the right direction. That crap down there. All right,
What is it?
Again?
Subscribe. How
Yeah,
people
they always point, and it looks so lame because you watch it on a embedded page somewhere, and they're pointing to nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, amateurs.
Don't you know how to point across web pages?
Yeah. Interdimensional. Okay, we're gonna come back. Ready with a small clap. All right. Well, looks like your mic's working there, Wes.
Ta-da! Okay, fix that.
The magic of audio.
Yeah.
Just cut that out of there. So, Ho Dear Rep, you're not waiting till the patch.
I am.
You're waiting for some things.
I'm waiting. Yes, I'm waiting to turn in my Ulduar relics. Now, is there any bonus for? Isn't there a? You can turn those into the Frostborn too, can't you?
I don't know.
I thought I remember.
Frostborn. Who are they?
Those are the ones over in Frosthold, the icy dwarves.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Is there any benefit for Frostborn?
There's no rep over there. It must be an alliance rep.
I don't know.
It's not a.
I did.
That must mirror one of the horde reps.
I don't know. Could be.
Because I'm like, Frostborn, what are you talking about? I kill dwarves.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I've also been leveling up or trying to level up my priest. My original character that I started when I went all the way to level cap was a priest, a holy priest, a dwarf priest, and I really liked the character, but I leveled him up all the way with my with a group. So we would get together every week, and I never had to really solo with him. And when I did, it was really annoying. I don't know if any of you have ever played a holy priest and tried to solo.
Yeah, I did for a long time.
And so then when the Burning Crusade came out, I started leveling my character again, and I quickly changed my mind. I realized that playing my Frost Mage was much more soloable.
Right.
So I really started playing that as my main. Now I leveled up my dwarf to the level cap, but when a Lich King came out, I decided not. I really just kind of put my dwarf on the back burner, and he's level 73, and he's just sitting there in Dragon Blight, been sitting there. He's the one that got the Sinister Squashling I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Oh right.
And
instead of your main or whatever.
Yeah, and so I've decided to start trying to level that guy up again. Well, I went over to there's a little Alliance Vanguard point over there right near Nax where you do some quests down to the Carrion Fields there. right in front of Nax. And so I've been going down in there, but there's too much stuff. And I forgot how frustrating it is. I mean, as a holy priest, I can handle one guy. I can sometimes handle two, because you can always shackle one of the undead. But once it gets up to like 3 and 4, you're dead. I mean, and the only thing I've discovered that's fantastic is I forgot I had this body and soul thing for my shield, and it gives me plus 60% movement speed. So all I do is I turn around and run, and then I cast shield on myself and go.
That's cool.
And then,
I can't even imagine leveling up a priest like that. Like leveling up a druid is just like easy sauce.
yeah, well, and the mage too. I mean, I've got so much crowd control with my frost mage, it's ridiculous. And I got unless you want to fear people, which I mean, the one thing I've learned being a priest, fearing is like is such a ridiculous wild card. You have no idea what you're going to fear people into. It's like basically just taking all the enemies around and throwing them in a random direction and seeing what they come back with.
Yeah,
you know. But so finally I gave up on that, and I said, okay, I can't do any more quests over here, and I sent them over to the Grizzly Hills to eat some amber seeds and go poop and stuff like that.
That's always fun. Amber seeds and poop.
Yeah.
You doing any of the PvP stuff over there yet?
No, I don't do a PvP.
They have a whole round of PvP quests that net you about 100k, 160k XP a day because they're dailies.
Yeah.
So I just found it leveling up that it was a good spot to get, because normally there's no one else over there doing it, so you don't actually.
It's not
have
the
to
one
PvP.
down there at that little lumber mill.
That's part of them, but I start up at the top of Grizzly Hills. I guess it is a lumber mill up there. Too, but you go up there. There's 4 quests up there, 20k a piece, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. And then you ride the rapids down to the lighthouse area, and then there's like 4 more down there.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's pretty good XP.
I might have to check that out.
I guess I can go ahead and continue since I'm talking.
Since you happen to have a mic in front of you.
I haven't had much chance to play this week. I had a poker game Friday, won. Awesome. And then played D&D yesterday, and then of course today podcasting. And the rest of the week we did get an Onyxia run in. We did not get her down. We just don't have the DPS. We've got a lot of new people who are going through Nax, so Onyxia is after that DPS wise. We have all the tactics down. Everything worked fine. It just came down to DPS in the second phase. So I'm sure we'll get her down in the next month or so. Definitely if the new patch comes out. I mean, then she'll be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ash couldn't make it this week.
Oh, yeah.
And he says here under his week, totally forgot about the Onyxia run. Oops.
Yeah, he didn't show up, so we had someone else in his place. Which, he actually does some decent DPS, and that Onyxia fight, you need range DPS in Phase 2 when she goes flying in the air. So thanks a lot, Ash. We probably could have done it with you. But I'll tell everybody else in the guild why we failed. I figured out a tip this week. Everyone may know this, but out of my own stupidity of not knowing it, I did some looking up, and the create campfire thing. You used to have to buy
the wood,
yeah, and then you had to buy a flint and tinder,
yeah,
and then you just did the spell. Well, they took that out completely.
Yeah, I love it.
You don't need flint or tinder. You don't need wood. And one thing that kind of threw me off is on the Swiss Army knife, it actually says it's a flint and tinder. So I was thinking, you still need wood. So I went everywhere, got wood, and still because I was like right clicking on the wood, right clicking on the thing. I forgot it was a spell, So you just it's on your main spell list, and you just pull it out. And every 5 minutes you can make a new campfire, just wherever you are. Campfire.
Plus 4 spirit, man.
There's 3 or 4 places in Dalaran you'll always see a campfire.
Bank.
There's one in the middle of the bank, usually in front of the bank, and there'll usually be one in front of the inn that gives out the cooking quests.
Yeah.
So if you wondered why all those fires were there, it's because it's an easy spell to cast, and everybody has it.
So how did this? You really spent a long time trying to make a fire?
Not a long time. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Longer than I should have. Yeah.
Why didn't you just go to an inn?
No, I wanted to be able to make campfires. And here's my thought. We just bought a new tab in our guild bank. And what I'm doing in this guild tab is I'm putting the mats to make like fish feasts and other raid-worthy food items, and I'll put the mats up top, and then the production after you make it at the bottom. Okay. And I thought, well, that'll be great. I'll just put some wood in here so people can make a fire right next to the bank and and cook it. And just put it right back in.
That was really thoughtful of you.
Well, and so then I was like trying to do it, right? Because there were some mats, and then I was like, I can't make a fire. I'm having issues here. So I looked it up on the net and found out that you didn't need anything to make the fire anymore, and you just had to click.
I did think I knew you didn't have to have wood anymore. I did think you still had to have flint and tinder.
I thought that too, but I took all mine out and put it in the bank and tried, and you don't need anything, just the campfire button.
Okay then.
And besides that, I've been doing. I always check the Shatra fishing daily quest because there's still one crocolisk in the city that you can fish up crocodile pets. There's 4 of them, and they up the chance to get them to like something ridiculous. Like pretty much anytime you do that quest, you're going to pull out he's going to give you one of the crocodiles. But my problem is I've gotten the same crocodile. I got Chuck 3 times for the 3rd time. And I got Snarly for the 2nd time, and they're not tradable. Like, I almost wish they made them tradable, kind of like doing the oracles in Sholazar. Like, you make more pets and you can go sell them. Well, I think they need that there. Like, I got an extra Snarly, I'm going to throw it on my alt, or I'll sell it on the auction house or whatever.
So where do you go fishing in Shatra?
You go out of Shatra. There's a lake kind of between Terakar Forest and the Zango.
I know that lake.
Marsh. He's standing on the edge of the lake towards Shatra. That's where you get the quest.
Okay.
And this one is basically you just go to your home city, depending on whether you're Alliance or Horde. Horde goes to Ogremar, and you just fish up a crocodile out of there and go hand it in.
Oh, cool.
Real easy. And that's about it. I have been working on our guild site, which is at lunardawn.wowstead.com. So any of the members go there, sign up, please read. I find that one of the most troubling problems with WoW is communication. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm not on, communication. Like, I need some sort of in-game message board, because the message of the day is just not enough for me.
I really don't understand why they don't have some kind of a link to an external site. You should be able to, like, they should put
like
the
an iframe or something.
Yeah, like or I mean, even if it's just like a tiny little, like, I don't expect them to hold your bulletin boards in their memory and transfer it there, but they could provide you with the tools so that if you had a website that was framed in a particular way, you and your guildmates could use this little frame in game.
Right. And actually, I've been talking with Chip, as one of our good friends over at curse.com, and they actually run wowstead.com too, and another guild-esque site that you can host your guilds at. And they're working on some technology that can actually do something like this, where you'll be able to basically post to this board in-game and then be able to pull the data back and forth. Right now, the issue with WoW is you can't really do an instant data pull from, like, websites. It's got to be like when you're zoning or something, kind of like that's why Tweetcraft only works when you're zoning, things like that. But I was thinking, do it on a screenshot, like you do your message or whatever in the add-on, and it takes a screenshot, because screenshots can go automatically. As soon as you do a screenshot, you can have a program looking for new screenshots.
Oh, okay.
Send it over, OCR that baby, and then do the text into the website, and back and forth that way.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
But I was thinking, why not just a big like bulletin board in game, where you can go and you could actually have where you see just your guild's messages on the bulletin board, or where you can see other people's messages on the bulletin board. And it's kind of like this: hey, you want to join my band? Take a stub, a stub off the bottom with the phone number, and it's the guy's email, address in game or whatever, so you can contact him through mail, things like that.
Can that be done through just an add-on or something, you think?
I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, there could be some sort of add-on. It's just throwing all that data around behind the scenes. You get kicked off fast. Like I used to have a lot of guild things like that would share data, like for trade skills and for equipment, keys, and blah blah blah. But if you had too many running at the same time, I would just get kicked off all the time, because I think they have something like letting you only push so much data behind the scenes on the chat channels.
Okay.
But I was just thinking, just in game, like they should do it. Big old bulletin board like thing, like big post with the big, hide on it with all these messages pinned to it. Public message. Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, how was your week, Eric?
My week was pretty non-existent in the WoW world. I've just been, I guess, kind of neglecting WoW this week, really, because all these other games coming out, Dragon Age and Modern Warfare 2. I played quite a bit of Team Fortress 2 this week as well, so, I just don't know if I logged in at all in WoW.
Well, you're also working on the radio play we do for our other podcast, and I know you always kind of tend to not get into games as much while you're doing that. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I got a lot of podcast type projects and stuff like that. But
so we'll give you some leeway.
Yeah, I see Sabrina logging in a lot, and it always makes me want to log in as well and play. But
yeah, she was logged on when I came over here today.
Oh yeah,
I walked in. Oh, look, she's playing WoW.
Yeah, she might be playing right now. So anyway, I'll pass it on to someone who has something.
So Ash, how was your week? Oh, good, great. You
I totally forgot about the Onyxia run. Oops.
It's the mini Ash already. Okay, so that was our weeks in, and I guess no one really sent in their weeks of. So we'll continue on and move on to news and discussions.
News and discussions.
So I didn't put these here.
I did.
I want to hear more about them.
Well, the first thing is I saw an announcement, and it said BlizzCon was July 30th and 31st, 2010 in Las Vegas. And the 31st of July is my birthday. And I was like, oh, man, my birthday in Vegas and BlizzCon. And my wife and I have pretty much slated out all our travel for the next year, and it did not include a BlizzCon.
Oh, really? Oh, that's sad.
And so I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, can we finagle this? Can I make this happen? Because I've even got friends, who live. Would have a place to stay in Vegas.
Yeah.
It would be awesome, and flights to Vegas are always cheap if you get them early enough. So I was like, and then shortly after I tweeted about this and had talked about it in a variety of circles, I found out that it was all untrue.
Well, let's hold up. It's not completely untrue, right? It is on the schedule in Las Vegas, and they had to come back and retract that, right?
Well, yes. Basically, what happened was the Las Vegas Convention Center had confirmed that those were the dates before that date has been confirmed.
Right. Kind of like how you do Play on Con.
Yes. Like we know when PlayOnCon is going to be, but we don't confirm it until we have all the contracts signed.
Right. So they're waiting on probably some steps like that.
But now, from what I understand, Blizzard is kind of denying it. So I don't know. This might have just been something they pondered and have not, gotten any more solid with, or, it could be... just...
I think what we'll see is a BlizzCon on that date. Now, don't go out and buy tickets yet to fly there. But I think we'll see a BlizzCon on that date in Las Vegas, but maybe not this hotel now. Like, they might have been like, look, you guys can't keep your trap shut, so we're moving on to someone else.
No, this is the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Oh, yeah, that might be.
This is not a hotel. This is the LVCC.
Well, they need to learn to keep the trap hole shut. So it's going to be in Omaha now instead.
I wish they would just put it in a hotel. It doesn't feel like a convention to me. Like BlizzCon felt like a expo or something, because it's just in one big room and it's it doesn't feel very personal to me, really.
Well, but the problem is you're dealing essentially with just a lot of large-scale announcements. Yeah. So what you want is the biggest room you can put people in, and that's going to have to be in a convention center. Most hotels
or something.
Yeah, but come on. These hotel ballrooms might be big, but they are not designed, to tell, 15,000 people the same thing all at once.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just too big, I think, is the problem.
Big. I think now what killed it for me is it being on the web and direct TV. I love being there. I'm glad we went that time, especially since it wasn't aired. and I'd love to go to another one if it was closer or something. But I can deal with watching it live. You know.
Yeah, you get all the same info. The only thing you don't get is just maybe the parties or the atmosphere, but you don't really get that anyway because it's a big expo center. It's not in a hotel. I mean, sure, people are in hotels and they do that sort of thing, but it doesn't have that classic con feel. So I'm totally good with just DirecTV.
DirecTV.
To be a bunch of downers, you know.
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think there'd be some parties in Vegas.
There would be some sweet parties in Vegas, man. I would love to go to a BlizzCon in Vegas. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so BlizzCon, keep your eye on it. May or may not be in Las Vegas. We'll see. The next one here is the biggest mistake that WoW's ever made.
I thought this was fascinating, especially me not being, involved in this particular aspect of things. But basically, there was an interview, and I'm really actually quite surprised that the guy actually mentioned this, but it was John Funk of Warcry interviewed Blizzard's VP of Game Design, Rob Pardo. And
Rob Pardo.
I know that's what Now, Pardo had fessed up in this interview. He was asked what he thought WoW's biggest mistakes were, and he said that he wishes the servers had been more stable at launch and that there'd been more of them. But he said that in terms of design, arenas were the single biggest mistake in WoW history.
Yeah. I agree completely.
He specifically said, we didn't engineer the game and classes and balance around it. We just added it on. So it continues to be very difficult to balance. Is WoW a PvE cooperative game or a competitive PvP game? There's constant pressure on the class balance team. There's pressure on the game itself. And a lot of times players who don't PvP don't understand why their classes are changing. I don't think we ever saw how much tuning and tweaking we would have to do to balance it in that direction.
And that was some undersight, or they should have seen that big time. I mean, just from other games like EverQuest had that issue when they introduced like PvP. It's like, well, now we have to gear our players for PvP, and well, now this breaks raids and blah. But what I don't understand about WoW is they have the perfect game tool to do this. It's their talent tree. They need to just add a third talent tree on that's a PvP tree. The only way you can get it is to be in a battleground or an arena.
Yep.
And you click on that, or it automatically happens.
Wow, that's a really good
New
idea.
Spells or whatever like that. And then they don't have to mess with bouncing towards the rest of the game.
Yeah, and right now you can have a PvP build, but it's all over the place, right? It's like, I want to get feared less, and, I want to get controlled less, so I'll put 5 points in this one. But as an overall build, it's not very good because I need more in this tree. So it's really scattered now. But, you can just do a search for, what's the best PvP build for a priest.
Yeah, but even going that far with those builds, there's still some classes that are just going to own another class PvP.
Right.
Just hands down. You throw a warlock up against pretty much anything, and they're going to school you and keep you feared until you're dead. Yeah. Things like that.
Well, but I think you're right. I think there were things they could have done to mitigate this. I don't understand, why the concept that every class had to be good against every other class even came up. I mean,
the arenas.
Yeah. Well, even in the arenas, I don't know why they didn't have, for the 1v1 stuff, you have two tiers. You have the class versus class. Like it's just the priests. All the priests are going 1v1, and the best priest, gets a certain number of points and all that kind of stuff. And then there's also the class versus class tree.
Yeah.
Or tier. I don't know how you want to put it. But and then for the other stuff, I'm sure there are current 3-player arena team standard builds that you do in certain ways, but so what you do is you create another tree for people, if you have more than one priest, you're on a particular ladder. If you have, what I'm saying? Yeah. They didn't have to balance the classes absolutely. They just had to provide the tools for the people who weren't following the hardcore, class versus class stuff to compete as well.
Yeah, and the other problem with the arenas is it's like you don't really get to go and just play the arenas unless you want to sit around waiting for a match. Usually, sometimes I know sometimes we would wait like 30 minutes for a match.
Yeah.
And you've got to do 10 in a week basically if you don't have a full team roster doing extra fights. Blah blah blah. So it's like, well, now if I have this separate spec for that, I've got to change it in between, while I'm doing other stuff, and it just seems it's just very awkward, and like I said, it's just like a tack on to the game, and I think kind of people who do arena probably pretty much do arena, and people who don't do arena are like, yeah, there's something like arenas in the game.
What do you think would happen if they just took it out?
Oh, I think there's a lot of people would be very upset.
Yeah, the arena. There are people, who basically get sponsored to fight in arenas. Mm-hmm. They're paid by some organization to sit in their house in PvP. So those people would be very upset, probably.
Yeah.
And it's fun. You get stuff from it, but I think they could have done it better. I think Pardo's right. It's
Pardo.
Big fail. Epic fail. Wow.
I'm really surprised nobody thought of your idea, the separate tree. That is actually really brilliant.
Thank you.
Did you think that up, or did you read it elsewhere?
I just thought about it right while we were talking.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Let's see. The next thing on our big things this week, quest tracking feature. Have you seen this?
Yes.
Hey, we're going to turn WoW into every other MMO. Here we go. Hold on. First thing, quest tracking.
Well, my friend Victor once said the demise of good MMOs came with the invention of the minimap. Once you like could get a top-down view of everywhere that you were, it ruined the whole explorative capacity of gaming. Yeah. I think once quest tracking got implemented in some of these things, I think that was pretty much the end of that version of explorative gaming, because the problem now is people, there's nothing that I hate more than reading a quest and going, okay, I need to go west of this place and do this thing, and then I get over there and I can't find what I'm supposed to fight.
Right.
If I can't play the game because the design is poor, then something is wrong. But if and so many people are installing these Quest Buddy programs.
Oh yeah, I think that's the first thing I put in on a new character.
I still haven't used one.
I love it. I can't wait for this feature, actually. I mean, I joke about it, turning into other MMO, but, obviously they said every other MMO has this, and they have it for a reason,
Yeah.
And so they're jumping on the bandwagon, and hopefully they do it better. From what I've seen in here, it looks pretty like WoW does things, so that's good. And, of course, it's going to be internal, so you don't have to worry about, other people putting in the right data.
Yeah.
Is the quest helper guy gonna be mad?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know what he can do to his quest helper to make it better than this quest helper.
If I was him or his team, I would be relieved. Be like, oh, finally.
Well,
that was a lot of
money,
work.
right?
You think he's making money?
Well, Curse now pays people. They basically ad share. If you make a mod and you host it with Curse, then anybody who goes to their page to get it or whatever, you're making money on it. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest add-ons out there. They are probably pretty upset.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about the revenue thing.
And that's one thing that's always kind of I wondered about writing add-ons. Like if I took the time to write an add-on and then it took off, and then they put it in the game, it's like, wow, did all that work for nothing. Mm-hmm. It's almost like I did all that work, and now you're just going to take it from me, and you're going to do the work for me from now on, and I'm going to go off into obscurity.
Unless you're going to be a game designer.
Well, yeah, if they got something for it. I think they should do something like that. So.
Well, I mean, I don't think they need to do that, but at the same time, if you go to a game company and say, I designed this add-on that WoW later added to their game, I'd say that's, a pretty significant...
Good resume.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Still, I'd be upset. Unless I got a job. Give me a jobby job.
They took our jobs.
So yeah, they've got a big write-up on the site too. You can go to worldofwarcraft.com and look down if you post and see it. News. Any other news?
Yes.
You know, they are having a big whatchamacallit, a giveaway or whatever on their site for. And I guess you don't have to sign up, so there's not really anything you got to do except for just wait for someone to send you something email. For the 5th anniversary, they're giving away a bunch of prizes.
That's crazy.
Wow, that is.
I can't believe we've been playing this game for 5 years, half a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the longest I've ever played a game. Like, seriously. I mean, sure, I've played games on and off for 10 years or something, or maybe 20 years. But yeah.
If I stay with it, it'll be the longest. EverQuest, we went about 5 years, maybe a little over.
I mean, I think I probably played StarCraft for a good solid 3 years. Or Unreal. I got really into it. But, you know, nothing that was
Have you
5
been
years.
you haven't been subscribed the whole time, have you?
To WoW?
Yeah.
No, I took one break. I took one break that was about 3 or 4 months long.
I have not taken a break. I've been subscribed since the day it came out, both me and my wife. We have paid almost $2,000.
Don't
Really?
you wish they made a lifetime subscription? Someone just did that.
Almost
Champions
two-
Online?
I don't know. Yeah.
Something like $200 for a lifetime subscription or
I
something?
can't
Man, I'd
remember.
do that in a heartbeat
Wow.
if they did that.
Almost $2,000.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
Think about it. Think about it. You got 60 months at $15 a month. That's
Well,
been
you know,
$900
That's
right
kind
there.
of the small things. I mean, it is amazing when you hear it all at once because you're like, wow, I just wrote a check for $2,000 and said, here, let me play your game. But not really. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, how much money has a smoker paid for cigarettes in his 50 years of smoking? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Then you, of course, you get a big number.
There's an app for that. One thing I thought was interesting, if you think about it, in 5 years of WoW, actually the next expansion probably it won't be out by the 5 years, so we'll have had 2 expansions in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EverQuest's been around 10. Will have been around 10 years. How many expansions do you think they've had?
12.
8? I'm just guessing.
They are coming out with their 16th
What?
expansion.
Holy crap.
And they've gone to a year-long cycle. They used to be 9-month cycle.
Yeah, I was
on
going to
their
say,
expansions.
that's more than 10.
I really think
so.
WoW's taking too long.
I
really do.
agree.
I mean, I think that, you know, you get these significant lulls in activity until you know until you get the announcements of the
Yeah.
new stuff.
See, and EverQuest suffered because they did expansion so fast. They were on a 9-month cycle that really after the I would say after about the 3rd or 4th expansion, the content really was not that good.
Yeah.
It was really just getting to be a bad game. And they actually said, yeah, we agree, and we're going to a year cycle to really fix that. I wish WoW would go to at least like a year and a half, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe a year even. It seems like they could just hire more people to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think a year per expansion is a good figure. That gives you a year to play through all of the stuff, and I think that's a legitimate number. You know, it might be frustrating for the completionists, but you know, at the same time,
Well, heck, I missed about 8 months or so with WoW, and I'm back to where I would. Well, I'd say where I would have been. I'd had a few more 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
You know, but I would be so bored to tears.
But you
with
are
the
an
game right
intravenous
now.
WoW user.
That's true.
You know, I think it should really be never ending. Like when I heard about how MMOs were shaping up, about the time I was playing Anarchy Online, and this is I don't even know what year it was, 97 maybe or something like that. And the idea of a never-ending game where they keep giving you content, they keep putting stuff on the back end faster than someone can catch up. Which means that, you know, I've been playing, just for instance, I've been playing WoW for a year, and my friend has been playing the same year, but he's so far ahead than me that he's like 2 years ahead of me, and I'll never catch up because I don't play as much as he does. So, and what we have right now is we have caps. We have when BC came out, once you fought Illidan and you got all the gear, you've won the game. There is an end. It's not like a true MMO. It's not like a real never-ending story. Had they kept putting more and more stuff on the end, then of course, you know, your friends would be divided. You would have the hardcore people that are years ahead of you. It would literally take you years to catch up with these guys. But that's okay because it's a never-ending game.
Well, and that's what WoW's doing, though. They're trying to keep people more together.
Yeah.
And that's what they do with their badge system, right? Now, with this new patch, you'll get Triumph badges, which is basically Uldar and above gear. So now, you don't really have to do Nags or Uldar. You just do the heroics like you've been doing, and you'll catch up to the people. Really, you could catch up in a couple weeks and be on the same level as those people who did Uldar 25 and whatnot. So it's kind of... I don't know. It's a double-edged sword,
friendly.
right?
It's like a family-friendly MMO.
Well, the one thing it does do, less than trying to catch up with them during the current stuff. Let's say you're a heavy raider and you play it hard, at the end of the game, and I don't, but we're both at the level cap. You just have better stuff than I do. Then when the next expansion comes out, you and I can stand side by side and do the next expansion together. That's sort of the gate that's being set.
Yeah. And one thing I think a lot of players don't really get with WoW is when you buy that expansion, you're not just buying what's in that expansion. You're buying that whole storyline for that area, which we're not done with that with Wrath. That's what 3.3 is. It's the final moment in that expansion you bought when you bought Wrath of the Lich King. Now imagine if instead of spreading that over 2 years, they put all that new content into 1 year. That would be an amazing game. It would never stop. You would get done with that new dungeon and be ready for that next one, and it would be coming out with this new stuff, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna die! It's coming out so fast."
Yeah, and I mean, like Eve. Eve is a good example of like the never-ending thing. There's not like there's never-ending content with Eve. It's more of the mechanics of training and learning and doing things that take forever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that that's the way to go because that feels grindy to me. That just means that, oh, well, big deal. It took me like 12 months to get this one thing that I've really been working towards. And that 12 months, I'd rather have experienced storytelling and like new zones and, like stuff,
Yeah.
So I don't think they should do that because certainly they could make XP gains a lot slower and make the game drag on and on and on. But
yeah, and here they're what? They're cutting back 5 levels. There's only going to be 5 levels. I'm going to be interested to see if they double the XP on those levels.
I bet. I think it's going to be significant.
See, and I don't like that, man. It's like how long between one level to the next, and just like,
Yeah, but I mean, even in the 10 levels that you got with this past expansion, you got one skill at a time. I didn't really. Leveling wasn't all that much for me in this last expansion.
It sounds like they're afraid of saying that their game has level 180 levels, and like a newcomer would be like, oh, I don't even want to get started with that game. I'm level 180 sounds like a lot to work towards, and I think they're
this
just
one
afraid
goes
of that.
to 11.
I think one thing it's going to do is it's going to make the older content more difficult. Like now, like we can go back to Burning Crusade and stomp on everything, right?
Yeah.
But that's because we're 10 levels above, and that 10 levels tracks is 10 levels, and basically up or down, you got 4 levels. Like when you're hitting stuff, if it's over 4 levels, you're pretty much not going to hit it. It doesn't matter what you got.
Misses and stuff.
So now, if you only have a 5-level gain over that last expansion, well, now you don't have that extra 5 levels that just makes you just own anything, right? So I don't know if that's playing into it at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do love the aspect of like going through old places, being overpowered. I know it's not balanced and it's not correct to do, and of course you don't get any rewards for it. But
achievements, baby.
Well, okay, you get achievements and you get to finally see the places that you were never able to see. Like you could go to Molten Core. I'm sure a ton of new people. Probably 90% of your new, probably even more than that, right, have never seen Molten Core because there's absolutely no reason other than, hey, let's go to this old place that was cool around 5 years ago,
Yeah. Yeah, oh, I didn't mention that. We went to Hyjal the other day, just a group of us.
Oh, really?
And we did fine until the boss. So it takes more than 5 people.
Archimond?
Well, it was the first boss, so it wasn't a big boss. It was just we didn't have enough for that boss. And we held him for, like 5-10 minutes or something stupid, but
how many people go there? I forget. 20?
It's was it originally 25?
25. Yeah.
I think it was originally 25. Yeah. So you should be able to take it with 10 easy. But we had 5 more, it would have been a joke. But yeah. But
cool.
Yeah.
See, and that's one thing I do have a problem with lately. I found that. I'm finding it more and more difficult to find casual groups to do this kind of stuff. I now, with the family, it's harder and harder for me to enjoy some of the content.
So do you think you're going to be hitting the crossover looking for group tool at all? I mean, are you going to try to?
I think that is a great idea. I think that I will definitely take advantage of that because it'll allow me to find groups. I don't know. I just think it's going to be more successful.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to try it out just because, right now in our guild we've got some people that need to get geared up, so they kind of get pulled into runs more because they need the gear over. Like, hey, we do this heroic. All I'm getting is 3 badges or 5 badges and disenchanting crap. So
right.
Hey, you go and get something you can use.
Right.
Well, with the cross server, I can still continue to do heroics and get badges regardless of that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so surprisingly enough, we're on to from the mailbox, and we've got something in here. This is a long email. We do like to keep emails fairly short.
Yeah, this is a very long one.
Does someone want to read it? Or
sure, I'll read it.
Paraphrase it?
Sure, I'll read it.
Let's comment after each paragraph.
That sounds good.
Okay, first paragraph. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey. He. Eric mentioned the link that I sent you last week. It was good to hear he liked it, and hope you got to watch it all.
That was the oops. That was Old War, I believe, and it was like a 3-parter. They're 10 minutes apiece. Machinima, really good stuff, man. Okay, I'm gonna make a little note here. I want us all 3 to watch it. And anyway, continue reading while I note this.
I have a couple of things that might be useful, especially for Brent, who is now a guild leader. They might help out.
Yeah, I'm gonna need help.
Okay, with respects to the Sons of Hodir, doing the main quest chain for them early is a good idea. It is a really long chain, but once it's done, it will open up dailies for you. The storyline for it is very interesting. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, it leads right to Ulduar. And the most important thing from them, though, are the shoulder enchants that you can buy from the Quartermaster. It is the only way to get enchants for this slot, and they have 4 kinds to cover all specs. Also, they sell a white mammoth. It is my favorite.
I've actually opened up the dailies for those guys, and I can buy the cheap shoulders. And when you say the shoulders, you can get these from a lot of the quartermasters have shoulder items, but this one definitely has one for DPS that is definitely needed. Bear or mammoth, love the white mammoth. I haven't gotten it yet.
It's expensive though, isn't it? It's like 12. It's like 800 gold.
Compared to like the 12K mount, no.
Okay. Well, here is the pro tip. While it is good to do the dailies for them, 6 a day ends up taking a lot of days, especially when you want to build your rep ASAP. Okay, I think I know what he's going to talk about. Here's what they don't tell you. Oh, and we're going to tell people. Oh, and I don't mind sharing this with you awesome guys and your listeners. My wife pointed this out to me, and I have been taking advantage of it. There are these small things around the ground in the greater Dun-Niflheim area that you can loot. These things do not sparkle and are quite small, but when you pick it up, you can hand it in for an extra 350 rep.
What?
Yep. You can pick up and hand in as many as you find. A lot of people don't know about these, and while hard to spot while doing your dailies, if you know they exist, they will help you find some. These are, it's called Everfrost shards. They look like tiny little cones sticking up out of the ground. It appears from reading on Thoughtbot, there are 6 zones for them, and I do recommend everybody goes to Thoughtbot and looks on Everfrost.
Not Thoughtbot though. Don't go to Thoughtbot.
I have no problems with Thoughtbot. I have none.
It's ugly.
I'm telling you, A, it's owned by gold farmers, and B, I know people who have gotten Trojans from it.
Okay, I have never had a problem with Thoughtbot. I have used it for years and years and years.
No, Thoughtbot got bought out by gold farmers, so it was awesome. I used to use Thoughtbot for everything, and a lot of people do, but
when it was the only one.
It's still good, and I'll tell you why it's good. I try to use WoW Wiki, but the problem is the comments in the WoW Wiki section do not elucidate the way that the comments in Thoughtbot do.
Try WoWhead.
Yeah, WoWhead or WoWDB. They have some good comments.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of WoW Wiki either. Anyway, go on.
So, anyway, there are 6 zones, okay, around Dun-Niflheim, and at any point in time in these zones, one of these Everfrost shards will be available. Now, they haven't gone over. Nobody has really illuminated how often it takes for one to respawn, but it appears that they might be on 45-minute respawn timers. So they're kind of tough to see. I mean, they're tiny. You really kind of will catch them out of the corner of your eye and go, oh, wait, there it is. I see it. I found one, in the big ice area where all the people are frozen. And one of the giants is swinging his hammer, and there's a bunch of people frozen in front of him running. I noticed it behind his heel. Okay, and I mean it's microscopic, but you pick them up and you can turn them in for 350 rep. So what you do is you fly around these 6 zones and you look for these Everfrost shards, and you can usually get anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 rep a day if you've got a good eye.
Wow.
So
that's wild.
Second thing I wanted to add was an add-on. It's called WIM, WoW Instant Messenger. It is a simple add-on that takes all of your game/tells and puts them into a small pop-up chat box. You can move the chat box around and even minimize it. It tells you things like player location, has buttons to invite them to party, add as friend, etc. It also, at a glance, tells you what guild the person is in and what class and level they are. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I used to use that last expansion. I don't know why I haven't gotten it.
It is a handy add-on to have, but it can also be a lifesaver. Now, I don't lead a guild, hint, hint, Brent times, but I do pug 25-man content sometimes. Having all those people sending me /tells at the same time can be overwhelming. Having to track them and find out who is saying what in a small chat box. If only I could... Oh, wait! Okay, that sort of makes sense. Just having the ability to keep each person in there as their own pop-up box has saved me much hassle, not having to worry if I've missed something someone said or see who said what, etc. So now that this email is super long, I hope that some of these things help out. Have a nice week. Keep up the good work. 2 Shoes of Sinjin.
Well, thank you, 2 Shoes.
Yeah. Sweet.
Bunch of good information.
That was our one email of the week.
Yeah, so if you want to have your email read, you can send that to wow@deadworkers.com.
Excellent.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
You can also watch us on the YouTube channel, Dead Workers Party. Leave us some iTunes reviews.
Yes.
Call us at 256-513-4772 and leave your comments, feedback, tips, whatever. We love those. And then you can also listen to our other fine podcasts at deadworkers.com/network. Oh, by the way.
Yes.
Twitter.com
/
Brent Copeland
/nailhead for me
/ Wes Wilson for me.
I like we say / instead of at nailhead.
That shows how old we are.
Yeah.
But I would have to say that I just hit 401 in followers.
Sweet. You're starting to catch up to me.
We will be giving... Well, no, this is specifically for the TCG card. And we've got 3 cards, so I'm going to let Wes tap one of those.
Okay, I would pick this one.
That is Landro Longshot. So that is for a tabard, and I will be giving this out on my feed this week. What day?
This comes out on Tuesday.
So we'll give this out on Tuesday. So sign up to my feed if you haven't already, and you'll see this on it.
Ooh, that sounds good. Very awesome.
Leave us iTunes reviews. I'm just gonna reiterate that we've gotten a few lately, but we still don't have as many as some of our other podcasts, and I just like some more data points for people to be able to know what they're getting in our show.
Yeah, critiques. We wanted to see what we're doing wrong.
Well, don't critique us on iTunes. Critique us over email.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so that'll wrap her up, and we'll talk to you next week.